Yes, mustard in the kitchen. The first episode of me actually cooking something. Would you like to watch? Because you could just go off and do something else. I don't mind. The first thing I have to do is get this mop out of the way with one of these special hair tie up things. Now, I normally end up using a cable tie them at work, but I'm not at work. I'm at home and I'm going to perform some cooking. That's better. Last week I made what I call a flomelete, and I call it this because it's an omelette with some flour in it, basically, to make it a bit more filling. I've only ever made it once, and I only ever did this just because, well, I do like to try different things out. And I posted a picture of this particular meal on Facebook. But tonight I thought I'll make another one and I'll show you how to do it, as if you need showing. So let's go through all the things you'll need to make this particular rather wonderful dish. Yeah, the hardware includes a pan and a one of these glass thingies like that, and a fork and a spoon. And then of course we need some flour. Not sure exactly how much flour, just an indeterminate amount of flour. Some black pepper, bit of salt, tiny bit of chili powder, or a lot, and a bit of olive oil, and eggs. How many eggs? An indeterminate amount of eggs, of course. This is kind of governed by the amount that are left, which is 5, as you can see there. Plus some cheese. I have forgotten something already. Yes, most definitely. Some garlic would be good. Or even better, some garlic and ginger paste. And one of these things, what's that? It's called an onion. A one-y-one. The other entirely essential ingredient to this particular food is an oven. If you haven't got an oven, I won't even bother starting. Actually, I mean a hob. Right, got this far and I still forgot the other thing. The chopping board and a knife. I like to call it a slicing board rather than chopping. Chopping is something you do with an axe. You don't cut an onion up with an axe. Not unless you're a complete lunatic. And this particular video is not aimed at lunatics. I want to make that really clear. Now there are various ways of cutting an onion up, so it's fine. So it's really tiny pieces. But personally I find it's okay as long as the knife is nice and sharp. In fact, what I really mean is if your knife is nice and sharp, not your knife is knife and sharp, then you can cut the onion up into tiny little pieces rather than great big chunky things that you leave stringy bits everywhere. So, may not be the most cooky of methods, chefy of methods in fact, but it's the one I'm using. The next thing you want to do is obviously stick the onions straight into the pan, where you can have a little bit of gentle heat. You don't want to burn them, but you do want to cook them. And then you have another thing I forgot to get out. It's not in there. Where's my spoon? Where's my special spoon? That will have to do. Reasonably gentle heat to brown the onions rather than kill the onions. They're already dead. Eggs are the most vital part of any omelette, and that's exactly what we're going to bung inside here. 1, 2, 3. I'm just, as long as I don't lose count here, 4, and then 5. And that's all of the eggs used up. So I can't possibly put any more in than that. What we need to do before we smash their faces in is just add a little bit of salt. Not loads, maybe a bit more than that. Oh, that's maybe a bit too much, but never mind. And then a little bit of pepper. Come on, what's going on there? That sounds like a lot by the reaction of my missus there, but honestly it isn't. It's just right. Have a closer look, have a closer look, have a proper look at that. See, it's perfect. And then that's where Mr. Spiky Fork comes in handy. We need to beat this up. This is where it turns from an omelette into a flomelette, because we have to add some flour to the mix. One big heaped spoonful, and then 2 big heaped spoonfuls. I think that's probably the correct amount. Let's give this a whiz up with the old fork and find out. Because if I put too much flour in there, basically you've got to put some more eggs in, and I haven't got any. Now, in my traditional method of not measuring anything else, some garlic and ginger. That will smell rather lovely in just a few seconds. Thanks. Now, as you're getting that close with the camera, you can probably smell that cheese. It does smell rather... What's the word for the smell of this cheese?
Yuck.
Steptoe. 2 ways of doing this. Either you scrape all the onions to one side and try and mix it together, or you just distribute them evenly to get a slightly caramelised, well in actual fact, burnt onion texture on the bottom of your omelette. In fact, flomelette. Stuck inside the pen. You should have it. Oh, look at that now, doesn't that look lovely?
Nice pouring.
It looks uncooked. That's what it looks like. Uncooked. It was a very nice cheesy omelette, this one. No shortage of cheesy flavour, because the stronger the cheese, the more the flavour, which is what we will find most definitely with this. Right, next bit then. Because I am a man, I like the taste of chilli. Because my wife is not a man, she doesn't like the taste of chilli. So I'm going to put chilli on all of this and eat it all myself. Too much on one side and not enough on the other. That is... Gosh, you got the best bit of cheese as well. How long should you cook this for? Well, somewhere between salmonella poisoning and just a rubbery omelette that you don't really want the taste of. You need to leave that cooking in the pan for a little while, but if you go too long it'll stick to the bottom and basically taste like wood. And that's a problem, because what you have is something that's cooked in the bottom and not cooked in the top. So you have to change the method of the cooking and use the grill for the top part. Yeah, bung it under the grill for a bit and then eat it. And there we have it. It's perfect. Slightly puffed up because of the flour. So, will it be as tasty as I think it will be? When I've almost finished, I will give my own food a mark out of 10. Honestly. If it's rubbish, I don't mind telling you. Well, the empty plates say it all. My wife would prefer a different kind of cheese, and I would have preferred not to put so much chilli in it. But other than that, for me, a good 9 out of 10.